It started with a joke that should have disappeared into the noise of a crowded summer festival in Nashville, Tennessee. Instead, it became the sentence that unraveled years of carefully hidden feelings. I laughed, pointed at the matching wristbands my best friend and I had accidentally been given, and casually told the volunteer that we might as well be a couple. The people around us chuckled, but when I looked at my best friend, Grace, expecting another laugh, I saw her cheeks turn bright red. She lowered her eyes, smiled with a mixture of relief and fear, and quietly admitted that she had been waiting years to hear those words, even if they had started as a joke. In that single heartbeat, everything familiar suddenly felt uncertain, and I realized I might lose the most important person in my life, or finally understand what my heart had been trying to tell me all along. Before we continue, if you believe kindness, hope, forgiveness, compassion, and second chances can truly change lives, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs encouragement, leave a thoughtful comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps more inspiring stories reach people who need them most. My name is Nathan, and for nearly 8 years Grace had been the one constant in my unpredictable life. We met during our first semester at a university in Tennessee, both working late shifts at the campus library to pay tuition. While everyone else seemed to form friendships effortlessly, ours grew through quiet evenings organizing books, sharing coffee during finals, and encouraging each other through disappointments that no one else ever noticed. When my father lost his job, Grace spent weekends helping my family without asking for recognition. When her mother faced a difficult surgery, I drove across town every evening just to make sure Grace never sat alone in the hospital waiting room. We never called it love. We simply called it friendship because that felt safer. After that festival, nothing seemed simple anymore. Grace never pressured me or expected an answer. In fact, she apologized the very next day for letting her feelings slip out. That apology hurt more than her confession because I suddenly realized how long she had carried those emotions in silence while protecting our friendship from being damaged. I wanted to tell her everything would be fine, but I wasn't even sure what I felt. The possibility that I could lose her terrified me more than admitting I might already love her. For weeks, I found myself replaying ordinary memories that suddenly looked different. Every birthday cake she baked, every late-night phone call when life felt impossible, every encouraging note she slipped into my backpack before difficult exams, every road trip filled with laughter that somehow made the miles disappear. I had mistaken comfort for routine and loyalty for habit. The truth was much deeper. Grace had quietly become home, and I had been too afraid to notice because I believed romantic relationships often ended while true friendships could last forever. Then life tested both of us in a way neither expected. Grace received an incredible job offer in Seattle, thousands of miles away from everything familiar. She had worked for years to earn that opportunity, and everyone encouraged her to accept it immediately. I smiled and congratulated her, but inside it felt as though someone had quietly removed the foundation beneath my feet. Watching her prepare for a future without me forced me to confront the question I had been avoiding. Was I protecting our friendship, or was I simply hiding from the vulnerability of loving someone completely? The evening before her flight, I helped pack boxes into her apartment. The rooms that had once been filled with photographs, books, and cheerful conversations now echoed with silence. Grace thanked me for always being her safest place and admitted that regardless of what happened next, she would always treasure our friendship. Those words should have brought peace, but instead they made me realize that I was moments away. The next morning I drove her to the airport before sunrise. The highway stretched through soft golden light, and neither of us spoke very much. Sometimes silence carries more truth than long conversations. As we reached the departure terminal, I looked at the woman who had celebrated every victory, comforted every failure, believed in me when I doubted myself, and loved me without asking for anything in return. I finally understood that real love often grows so naturally that we stop noticing it until we imagine life without it. Before she walked inside, I told Grace that the joke at the festival had accidentally uncovered the truth. I hadn't laughed because she was my best friend. I had laughed because somewhere deep inside, my heart already believed we belonged together. I admitted that I couldn't promise a perfect future, but I could promise honesty, commitment, and the courage to stop hiding behind friendship when love had been quietly growing all along. Tears filled both our eyes, not because life had suddenly become easy, but because fear had finally lost its grip. Grace chose to postpone her move for a few months, giving us time to build our relationship carefully instead of rushing into it. Later, the company allowed her to work remotely for part of the year, and together we discovered that the future didn't require perfect timing. It only required two people willing to choose each other every single day. Our story wasn't transformed by grand gestures or dramatic miracles. It changed because one careless joke gave two guarded hearts permission to tell the truth they had been protecting for years. If this story has touched your heart or reminded you of someone who has quietly stood beside you through life's hardest seasons, please support this video by liking it, sharing it with others, and subscribing for more uplifting stories that celebrate hope and genuine human connection. And before this story ends, I'd truly love to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell us whether you've ever realized someone's value only after imagining life without them. Your story might encourage someone else to be brave enough to speak from the heart today. Sometimes the greatest love stories don't begin with perfect words or carefully planned moments. Sometimes they begin with an awkward joke, an unexpected blush, and the courage to stop pretending that the person who has always felt like home is only a friend. The happiest endings often belong to those who finally choose honesty over fear, proving that hope has a remarkable way of turning ordinary moments into unforgettable beginnings.